we haven't talked about Rick Perry very much since the indictment, and I guess Friday he's going to be in court. We saw the picture of his mugshot yesterday, which we'll share with you. He took his glasses off, as per usual in mugshots, and he was smiling. And, you know, a lot of media pundits saying, you know, he's really not taking this indictment seriously, and his camp saying, no, we're not. We're not taking it seriously because we don't think that he did anything wrong.
He faces up to 109 years in jail
for
a felony coercion and abuse of power for these charges. And I would hope he takes it seriously, because the governor of your state making a mockery of the justice system, something about that just doesn't feel right to me.
Well, okay, and this is why. And I was asking you, okay, what's the legal perspective on this? You know, how did he break the law? Because when I read the news, when it first broke, I was like, I didn't really feel like he'd done anything wrong. I felt like had he been a CEO of a company and he'd lost faith in one of his employees because she was acting a fool and drunk and thrown into jail, he would fire her. And so in this case, as the governor of our state, I feel like he has a responsibility to keep responsible, respectable people in their positions.
Okay, and
I didn't feel like he did anything wrong.
That's the point. There have been other circumstances where different district attorneys have gotten into trouble, specifically with DWIs, who've been arrested and jailed, just as in this manner, but those district attorneys weren't investigating something he was associated with. He's been associated with something where this particular district attorney was actually doing an investigation of him.
So he cut the funding to her particular department and this unit that she was heading.
Correct.
That was investigating some of the things that he was doing.
Correct, and hence, therefore, the coercion. Either you step down or I'm not giving you this money.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
So I'm split, right? You know, part of me wants to go, yeah, you know, if she's acting like that and we don't want somebody like that in office, and so you know, he asked her to resign. She said no. He said, if you don't resign, I'm going to cut the funding to your unit. I think it seems reasonable. Legally, he's not allowed to do that.
But if he's not held other district attorneys to the same standard, it certainly does suggest that there might be some ulterior motive.
But let me ask you a question, Dawn. If she wasn't investigating him, if he was just a district attorney in some other part of the state, and he said, no, I'm going to cut your funding, would it be the same thing, or is it only because is it still a crime, or is it only because she's investigating him?
Well, that's where the abuse of power comes into play. But you cannot use your office to convince people to do things you want them to do in that manner.
Right. Darn it.
Wouldn't it be nice if that's...
running for office then.
Here's what I think. This happens all the time in every state and even in our country. And if this is the case, then this should be going on in all the other governors and as well our president.
But it's happening in Dallas. We're seeing it with John Wiley Price. I mean, people are being held accountable. You know, this is not a let's go after
abuse of power charges, right?
You know, so
I like what Perry said in this. He said, quote, with my head held high, knowing the actions I took were not only lawful and legal, but also right.
Well,
and I have to stand by that.
Well, good. Let's see how this plays out in court. I can't wait to see the evidence come out, because there was obviously enough information that a grand jury decided to indict him. I mean, it's not like someone just woke up one day, you know what, we should charge him. There's been somewhat of an investigation, and we'll see what happens.
And of course, his camp is saying it's the Democrats that are charging him. They're leading the fight. It's all political. I mean, it'll be really interesting.
It is the Democrats that are charging him.
Right, and those are the facts. But is it because they're trying to, you know, make him look bad so he can't run in 2016? I mean, politics are politics.
Think about it from the perspective that everyone has something on the line here. Why put your neck out to indict someone if there's nothing to hold him on, because then that makes you look bad. They have to have information to be able to go after him. The grand jury didn't just sit there and say, oh, you know, let's just go after him and see.
Yeah.
No. And I'm sure grand juries are made out of both Democrats and Republicans. So I say let's see this thing play out. As you know, you were talking about wanting to see Obama take pictures down at the border. I want to see Rick Perry take this seriously and not go out and buy. No, he's not. He's like, this is a farce. This is he is saying
this is a little. I don't think he says it's a farce. He says I didn't do anything wrong.
No, no. But his legal camp is saying this is a farce,
and the photo
and that there's nothing
him,
behind
you know, getting ice cream and smiling, you know, like the Cheshire Cat in his mugshot. I mean, it is he's fanning the flames of we're not taking this seriously.
Absolutely.
You know, because of those photos.
I do want to see it. One thing that I heard, though, is that it's all playing out, though, like, you know, all this politics is moving to the courtroom.
Yeah.
And people, you know, politicians are blaming each other, and it's all going into the courtroom instead of just being played out in the political scene.
In the polls.
In the polls.
Well,
exactly.
Boehner's suing Obama. I mean, you know, everyone's doing
That's what I'm
this.
saying, as a
It's
general
not a Democrat problem.
It is a general
As a
trend.
general trend, I mean, it started with Bill
Absolutely.
Clinton, I think, and that's what, you know,
Yeah.
it just kind of has gone from
I
there.
mean, and that's how polarized we've gotten, that we have to take these fights into the courtroom.
That's right, this is so
instead of
ridiculous.
allowing. Well, I don't think it's ridiculous. If he did use his office and abused power, and he is responsible for this coercion, then he needs to be held accountable. I don't
Okay,
think it's
so
ridiculous. And like I said, if a grand jury thought there was enough information to indict him, then there's something there.
Can I ask you this just from a legal perspective? Can she, because she, as the district attorney, is elected by the people, if it would have come out, you know, her DUI video and everything, could the people ask her to resign? Could that have been, I mean, is she, once she's in office, she's
Ballot
in office?
box. It all comes down to the
Until
ballot
the
box.
next, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And Friday, he's in court Friday, is that
Yeah.
right?
It'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
I would just hope he takes it a little more seriously, or at least gives the appearance that he is, even if he thinks that this is a complete farce.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen
No,
from
probably not.
what we've seen.